Ah, hello, beautiful people. We are live, just doing our little last minute checks, making sure everything is working as it should. So if you are here, say hello. We've got a wonderful surprise guest. I can't wait to introduce them. Let's see, just one more, making sure. This is so much fun. So we're just making sure, and it does say we are live. So let's see. Good morning, Angela. Welcome. Good to see you. Beautiful. Fabulous. Excellent. So Restream moved all of my things to a different place. So this is my streaming platform. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Uh, this is so my mom is awesome. She's like showing up. So yeah, I'm really excited. But so Restream moved all my stuff. So forgive me if I'm a little discombobulated today. I was fine. I had everything all together. But I think this is part of the energy of the week that we are working on. So as we gather steam and I start flipping back and forth, we'll have a nice chat. And I think I'm just going to jump in because I don't want my guest sitting, this surprise guest that I have sitting in the wings in the background, and he's all kind of blacked out. The way this looks is hello from Kitchener. Hello, hello. But we will be introducing everybody here in a second. So, good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Happy end of the week. Hey, welcome, Janet. We're getting just some hellos here. So, this is great. We're welcoming all kinds of. Oh, Richard is here. Thank you, Richard. Janet is here. Yes, I am well. Thank you. Although I'm trying to figure out these crazy, I'm just making sure everything's all here. So there's another. So TU, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I bet my guest will know when he pops on. Oh, I gave it away. It's a he. It's a he. It's a he. But yes, I'm doing well. But good morning, afternoon, evening, happy end of the week, and welcome to TGIF for the Curious and Enlightened end of the week wrap up. So I'm your host, Debbie Tatel from Spirit Light Insight. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a clairvoyant medium, healer, and spiritual guide. In addition to my readings and one-to-one clarity sessions, I offer clairvoyant development classes, meditation, and healing. And today we have a really special show, and that's why I'm introducing myself in that way, because most of you who come on here know me already. But we also have a surprise guest. Thank God, my friend, the amazing psychic medium, Louis Mabee. Louis is a professional clairvoyant medium, healer, and intuitive. He works with his and your spirit guides to kind of give you some peace of mind. He reads your aura and the energy around you and the environment of the space we exist in on a physical, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. So welcome, Louis. Yay. And welcome all of Louis's folks. We are actually multi-streaming on my Facebook page, on Louis's Facebook page, on Louis's YouTube, and on my YouTube. So we're having this beautiful, wonderful party. And I think it's so much fun to have a guest on here Angela's saying good morning, everyone. We're
Good
getting
morning.
our.
Hey, Richard. So just to let you know, Debbie, anyone that's from Kitchener is like my peeps.
Ah, is
So
that where you're from? Is that where you are?
yeah, so I'm very. I used to have I have an office in Waterloo. Anyone that knows Kitchener will know Waterloo.
Well,
And
I figured I kind of assumed.
yeah,
A
hi,
because
Richard. Hey, Tui. Hey, Angela. How
and
is
so how
down
do you
there?
pronounce your
Tui.
Tui? Okay. Hi, Tui. Welcome. So welcome to everybody here. So wait, so your office was in Kitchener, but you're not in Kitchener anymore, right?
No, so I have an office. So Kitchener Waterloo is a twin cities, so they're joined cities. So I have an office now in Waterloo, but I don't live there anymore.
Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
What's that commute like?
What's that?
What's that commute like?
Oh, easy peasy. It's only like 35 minutes.
Ah, okay. Angela's
Better
saying
than coming in from
hello.
Toronto every time.
Yeah, I'm going to end up having to plug in the speakers so that I can hear you better because my thing is. How's the
Now?
sound? Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine. I can hear you fine.
Okay, I'm just turning it up, so I just want to talking. So
You. Sorry, I knew that. Sorry, TU. I knew that. As soon as I said, I'm like, wait a second, that's not right.
TU. Okay, TU. We're gonna get this right. Apologies for, but I do like the Van Winkle part.
That's a story.
Do I want to know the story? It might be a good story.
It's a fun story.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
I
T.
I can't really remember it all because uh TU and I met 15, 20 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
And
TU.
she,
If it's a short story, you can write whatever you want in here. If you want the story,
she was
we are
traveling. She
happy.
was in the UK and for a while and doing some education and all that kind of good stuff. But it sounds like she's back in Kitchener. So,
I love it.
yeah. Hi, Janet. How are you?
We're getting we're getting every, and again, I apologize. I was really good with all these like little things, and until they threw me with a loop when I got on 15 minutes before you got on.
And that actually is in line with the whole energy around interfacing in electronics right now.
Yeah.
We're in massive shifts. Do you think that's there's no coincidence about why thread just dropped? So is that called threads? Threads, whatever.
Threads. Oh
Threads.
yeah,
So
we're gonna
there's like
I've got a
no
whole.
no cosmic accident
Yeah.
why threads showed up when it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's massive change in technology and interfacing and all that sort of thing. And energetically, it we especially us sensitives, we're gonna have to resensitize to this new vibration that's coming in. So be prepared for some. Woo.
Yeah.
Hey, Tammy.
Yeah, welcome, Tammy. We got all the peeps coming in.
Yeah.
That's great. So yeah, the threads, we're going to talk about that, and the energies have just been so amped up that yeah, nothing surprises me, and we talked about that. This is one of the fun things about having psychic friends that kind of do similar things but different things than what you do. Like I have a lot of folks that do the same thing I do. Some of you are watching right now, so welcome to all of you. But it's so great to get like sort of these different perspectives. And what's really funny is I love when I call you and I haven't talked to you in a while, Lewis, and I, you know, we just start talking and you're like, yeah, I just saw that with my client. And then you'll say something, yeah, I just saw that with some of my clients.
Exactly.
So it's really so much fun and so validating to talk about that. And that's also why it's so nice to get like sort of point, counterpoint, and things like that, and have these open discussions.
Vision.
And I'm so glad that I wasn't thrown over by a car part, be that I was willing. Not gonna lie, I was basically going, "Don't come in, don't come in. I want to have Lewis on." But at the same time, this is a lot of fun. So, is this the first time you've been on formally? Well, sort of semi-formally, because I didn't know you were coming, so I wasn't able to
Right. We
create it.
connected when I was in Spain. Your very first show.
Right, when you were. That's right. That's right. Well, not first, but yeah, but that was one of them, and that was so. Oh, that was so good when
Yeah.
you came on here. So, yeah, welcome, and we're gonna have a good old time. Yeah, the energies have been all amped up, and let's see. Tu says not living in UK.
She used to, but she's back. She's back in Kitcher. She's back in her hood.
Back in the hood. No traveling in the future. What say you, Sir Lewis?
Maybe for a short little while she might stay put, but
Yeah,
I
I
think
see.
there's a surprise travel thing coming up. I think someone's going to get bit by the bug.
Hmm.
So just saying.
But interestingly enough, because this is what Lewis and I do best, is add add to the mess, or the message. Actually, it's really add to the message, which is to you. I see that you came back. You're grounding. You're clearing your grounding. You're clearing your connection. You're regrouping and reorganizing your energy and really pulling it in so that you have clarity on where you want to go next and how you want to proceed in the journey. So that's why I laughed and I said, "What say you, Lewis?" Because I'm like, you just looks like you're clearing the energy here to you. So, but welcome back, and however long that is. So that's just a lot of fun. And yes, folks, we do have Lewis. So we may or may not be doing readings when we do our wrap up. But for those of you who haven't been on one of these wrap ups before, one of the things that we do is we look at the energy for the week, and we talk a little bit about that, and then we'll see where that leads us. We'll go down any rabbit hole. I'll be here as long as Lewis wants to be here. We have no time limit on this, other than if you can be here or not be here. And so welcome to everybody. And if you are on my Facebook page, please say hello, because I, again, every now and then, wouldn't that be funny if your Facebook page worked and mine didn't? Ha ha. That would be about right. But one of the things that we talked about, was it about a week ago?
Yeah.
And I
That's
really want to bring this up because it came up really interesting, coincidence. There was no coincidence, but it actually came up in a conversation that I was having with somebody today who was trying to, let's just say, share some conspiracy theories with me and things like that. And in the conversation, it came up, and I thought, you know what, I want to bring this up, because one of the things Lewis and I were talking about is how there's this big spiritual awakening. People are awakening. And one of the things that we are going to do, by the way, we always wrap this up, regardless of what happens, with about a 10-minute reset meditation. So you can clear out your space, clear out your energy, and really, so that you can enjoy your weekend and not have your thoughts in work or anything else. And thank you, Angela. That's very sweet. It's Saturday morning in New Zealand, so this is how Angela spends her Saturday morning, which I
waking
love.
up.
Waking up, I love it. Waking up and setting your energy for the day. But what I had on the docket for today was to clear out the 6th chakra, because it's been looking very cottony and white, and just a lot
Cloudy.
of unconscious energy.
Yeah.
So going back to what I was talking about what we were talking about is that clarity and this clear seeing is a blessing and a curse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Because once we see something, we can't stuff it back in, we can't unsee it.
Right. And when things come to clarity, it for people that are on the path of providing or giving information, it comes in the form of truth. And sometimes truth with messages might be 5 steps before or 5 steps ahead of where we actually are. So sometimes when we get the downloads or the messages, we're like, that doesn't make sense. But it's not for us to try to filter. It's still up to us to give the information and then let things fall into place so that by the time that we reach that point of the clarity, we either have an action plan or we're better prepared, or we wing it.
Right. Right. But sometimes we also see stuff.
Yep.
And I want to add to this that we don't want to see.
Right.
We don't want to see, let's say, something negative, right? So sometimes, and then we see it, and then we might go into fear,
Right.
Or whatever that is. When I don't know about you, Lewis, I know when I do the work, I need to read from neutral, right? I have to see what I see, whether it makes sense, because making sense is an intellectual function.
Correct.
Seeing with clarity is a 6th chakra spiritual energy, as it were, right?
Yeah.
So they're two different things. We don't, even though I might ask someone I'm reading, does that make sense to you? Right? Because that's what they understand.
Yes.
Right? But we have to see what we see. And as you awaken, as you develop your own spiritual abilities and everybody has it to a degree. It's just we're clearing it out right now on a much broader level. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Lewis? Yeah.
Yeah. Like wheelbarrows.
Yeah, exactly. It's clearing out, but a lot of people don't know what to do with that information because there's the knee-jerk reaction to do something about it.
Right.
Like, oh, what we see this, especially if you see it, maybe somebody walks by you and you see that they're hurting, or you may see their loved one attached to them. Don't grab them and say, hey, I have a message for you or whatever. No. You have to sometimes just see what you see and really just be aware that you're seeing and what you're seeing.
And as the purge is going on, oftentimes people will try to find what they're used to. So, and that's kind of like to Richard's point where it's like, we'd rather live in lies than truth. Right. So as we're purging and we're having all this beautiful space becoming available to us, some of us naturally tend to try to fill it back up with what we're familiar with, what we're comfortable with. And that's typically negative thoughts, negative intentions, even though you may not be a negative person, but it could be your surroundings, it could be your environment, whatever. But so when you begin to have this space, and that's oftentimes when people say, I'm at a crossroads, is because, wait a second, what's happening? I'm not in that zone anymore. And so that's why people call it crossroads. So, and rather than trying to figure everything out right away, sit, chill out, let the information form. It's like walking down the stairs. You just don't jump down the flight of stairs. You walk down the stairs.
Right.
And it's going to take some time to get to the base of the stairs. And so when we shift the consciousness of allowing, being, then that's where we started off with, when the truth can come in, permeate where it needs to permeate, fill in the cracks that has been left vacant because of this huge shift with purging. And that's where we really truly can evolve.
Yes.
So this is about, right now anyway, cosmically, it's about doing your thing, but in stopping and smell the roses.
Yes, 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 yes. And just see what you see.
Right.
You
Right.
don't need
And
to make
don't try to figure it out.
sense of
Just
it
see it.
or
That's it.
especially judge it. And so here is kind of what I thought was so interesting, because it really is, it's a blessing when we have our clarity. But then when we see things we don't want to see, whether it's for us or someone else, it it that's, we don't want to see it. And you know what? That's why some of us shut ourselves down when we
Right.
were little, is because we saw something that we didn't want to see, or maybe it was violent, or maybe it was our parents were fighting. It doesn't matter, any number of things.
Yeah.
And when we don't want to see, we can't just pick and choose what we want to
What we
see.
see, we either see it or we don't.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And let's see, Val is saying hello, Lewis, and
So
welcome, Val.
thank you very much, Val. So to help people that see and don't understand or go into fear because they're seeing, I really suggest to say thank you, but then shelve it. Don't go into the ego.
Right.
Don't try to figure it out. Allow it to exist. And if you see something regarding messages for someone else, if you feel comfortable, approach. If you don't, then don't.
Yeah.
Because regardless of the message, the person's going to have to go through the lesson, whatever their lesson is. And so you deciding not to approach them with the messages that you received, it's not that you're not trying to be helpful, or that you might have them go into more pain or more whatever. It's more so about their, even if you give them the information, like just like Debbie and I, we give people information. It's up to them now, with the information that they have, what to do with it. If I tell you to turn right at a certain point in a reading and you turn left, then the things after what I said from turning right won't make sense. But
And can I add that it's also okay for you to walk left if Lewis told you to go right, because you have the free will to do that.
yeah, and that's what it is. It's free will.
It's free will, and you may have different guidance right at that moment.
Yep.
That's in present time.
Right. But what happens, what I found anyway, is that eventually you go right back to that space, turn left.
Truth.
And it's not
Exactly.
because, by you turning right doesn't mean that you've stifled yourself from something. It's more so about, you probably needed a little bit more information, so that when you got back to that point, and the situation might change, but the learning hasn't changed, like the learning lessons hasn't changed. So you probably pick something out and put it in your cart by the time you get back to that same space, so that you have more information, or you trust yourself, or you've done some more healing, whatever the case may be, so that you can continue further on that journey.
Yep. Yep. And then one more thing I also want to just add before we kind of get to our wrap up, but isn't this interesting? We can really open this up. And I just found it interesting that, well, I didn't know you were actually going to be here. I must have known at some level, because my whole day was different.
Right.
Like, I didn't even finish the weekly wrap up. Like, a lot of times I'll make notes and things like that. And I was like, yeah, I think Lewis is coming. So I just kind of left it at that. And then we were scrambling at the last second to get some, some stuff going, but that's okay
We
too.
nailed it.
It's okay too. We don't have his pretty picture, anywhere, but it will be up once we're done. But one of the things that came out of the conversation that I had this morning, which was about really, again, they were talking about conspiracy theories, which is fine. But it's to be aware, but not get consumed
Right.
by what you see.
Right.
It's to open up a space of awareness. The moment we become obsessed or consumed by what we're seeing or what we're looking at, or we go into fear, which is being consumed, right? Any kind of thing where we're not just looking at it and going, huh, that's interesting. That's kind of fun. That's when you're stuck.
Right. That's when you
That's
dim your light.
that dims you. You're stuck there. And then what's going to happen is every place that you're stuck is going to now come up for you all at once, because you're stuck in this one area, until finally it feels like you're in a swamp of goo and you have to call me or you have to call Lewis and get unstuck, because we'll help, kind of pull you out of that space by just saying hello to those energies.
Right.
But it's very important, as we take a step up in our evolution, right, that you just don't get consumed by what you see. You don't need to get sucked in to other people's rants and raves. And I rant. Lewis rants. We all rant. We just try to rant just to us,
Right.
because then we get over it and laugh, and then
Right.
it's done. But sometimes it's very difficult when we're in the middle of that energy to get out it, and that's when sometimes we need a little help.
Right. And
So
learning to let go is your best policy.
mhm.
Is a, bring it in if you need to, look at it, then take a step back and say, all right, I hand it back, because it's not for me to manipulate, control, to try to shove into a space that it doesn't belong in. And when you're able to walk away from it, and God bless it, whatever you want to
Yeah.
say, that's where your power lies. And that's
Yeah.
where you're able to really focus in on whatever messages you are getting, and they become crystal clear. It's like me, and I'm sure it's like with Debbie, when we're doing readings, I know when certain things happen, then they mean something. Like, for example, when I'm doing my mediumship work, if there is a person that steps up to my left shoulder, that means it's from the father's side. If it's on my right shoulder, it's from the mother's side. So there's just markers that I've, just because it's throughout the years that they've been consistent, that I've
Mhm.
been able to develop where it's coming from, where it needs to go, and all that sort of thing. And anyone can do that too, with whatever information, or what you think you don't get information, you are. It's just that your focus is, you are very right, Timmy. Um,
Yeah, Tammy
focus,
says I let my sister go, and
yeah, and
I
so
was
your
right.
focus is all about, instead of trying to decipher the message, accept it as is, and if it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not up for you to curate it. It's more
Or
so about,
heal.
or
You
heal.
don't have to heal it at all.
It's a
And
message.
that I think is the natural tendency, is to go in
Right.
and heal what we see and fix it. If
Right.
we see somebody else, and oof, I call this the healer's curse,
Mm,
where we see something and we know it's really easy to fix. If we go in and do that, we are making that person a victim. We are also invalidating that person, in the sense of, if we feel the need to go in and heal it, then it's almost like saying you don't have the ability to heal it yourself.
right.
Now, asking somebody if they'd like some help,
Different.
that's different.
Mhm.
But if you just go in, but many of us healers, we just
Yeah.
plow right on in, and there we are. And there we are.
Right.
By the way, I have to keep, apparently, my Facebook page isn't working properly. So I'm gonna, again. And I don't know how to fix that. So if you see me pick up my phone, that's what it is.
Right.
But anyway, all of this is the segue to be aware but not consumed by what you see as we do this kind of weekly wrap up. And we start off, Lewis brought it up a little bit earlier. So during the week I had a whole, there's a lot of energetic stuff, but how can I not bring up Threads?
Right.
This beautiful new platform that Zuckman launched this week. So I have to say hello to the shiny penny, because it's a new shiny penny in the metaverse. Okay. So I will say, I'm going to say it here and now. It takes courage to admit that someone is a sheeple. And I confess, I jumped on board.
But that's okay.
Right away. Yeah, no, as is here. I'm just admitting.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do appreciate, regardless of anything else, is a great business launch.
Right.
That says, I got to shake my head and go, we're going to launch this, and 30 million people in 24 hours.
Is that how many? Oh, wow.
That was in the first, not even 24 hours. 30 million people. They made it super easy. You just, in your Instagram, it's like, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to follow everybody else that was on Instagram? All of that. I'm sorry. That's brilliant. And of course, I'm psychic. So I sat back and I'm like, what's really going on here? And I started laughing as I realized I'm calling it the Zuck Musk rivalry. It's like a marriage, right? Zuck Musk. That's Don't they combine names like when two people are getting married? You know how you
hyphenation, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean like where they make the names like like Brangelina and
Bennifer and that.
Yeah, Bennifer. Yeah. So I'm just calling it the Zuck Musk. Because this is a rivalry playing out. It's just these two boys playing with their expensive tech toys to create their own virtual reality illusions of grandeur universes. Right? So I'll be curious to know. And it's interesting. So Maria says her Facebook page was weird. By the way, the best way to watch this is on YouTube, because these Facebook pages, for some reason, the platform, the API is not working properly. So, please do join us on YouTube. You can go to my channel or Lewis's channel, and we are live there. I am. When am I? YouTube. Yeah. So if you're not subscribed and you're on my channel, please subscribe. I really would like to get my own handle on there so I could just say to you, yes, it's YouTube / @Debra Tatel, and we are here. But anyways, so share, subscribe, do it now. It's all good because yes, but I think, I'm wondering if part of that, the API is going to change because of that Threads, right? But Lewis, you were talking about that and this kind of big launch. And by the way, here's the best is I went to, I found out more information after. I don't get caught up in anything really. It's like AI, I go, yes, can you create me a title that's better than one I can write? It's, there I am. But and by the way, usually it does write a title that's way better than I can write. So it's smarter than me. It's a reason it's called AI. It's smarter than me. But anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole today. Yeah, you could see both. Yeah, you're on
Facebook.
You're on Lewis's Facebook. Mine, it's there, but I can't see any comments. So at least I can see the comments on Lewis's page.
There you go.
I'm looking at mine because I was going to say if you want to give some stars on if you're on Facebook, I don't know if that works on pairs or not, so never mind. But anyway, Um, yeah. So as it turns out, Threads, this is great. They kind of forgot to tell you because they don't really have terms of agreement, right? Or not like you would normally see. And I thought, oh, this is too easy. So apparently you can't delete your Threads account at this point. Because if you do, you delete your Instagram account.
Oh, shady.
So you can deactivate it because I went to the thread, I followed the threads because nobody knows how to use it yet.
Right.
Right. Um, but I thought, so I actually posted on the thread, and dear God, for the first time in my life, like I never say anything. And here I just said, the devil's in the detail. There
Yep.
should have been a warning that once you do this, you can't delete it or you lose your Instagram. I mean, you can deactivate and then it'll go blank, like nothing will be there. Right.
Right.
But it's still
Your information is
there.
there.
And so that comment apparently is gaining hundreds of likes on the threads. But let's see, what is it? Maria said, and then if you don't sign up on threads, you have to see posts about it on Instagram, like maybe you're missing out. Yes, that is the point. That's where I was going to go, is the FOMO. The way they did this is don't miss out. This is a new platform. Oh, look, we're better than Twitter.
Yeah.
Right? It was like all this competition. So when you look at the energy of that. So, and by the way, I'm not saying don't go, I'm on it. And in fact, if you go to my threads.net slash, I think it's my name, Debra, might be Spirit Light Insight. I didn't put it up here. I actually started because this is what I wanted to use it for. If you've got a thread, do you remember? I don't know if you did this, Lewis, but did you? Stephanie is saying hello. I don't want to miss hellos from the pages. But do you remember when you were a little kid? I don't know if you did this, but somebody would like start a story and then the next person would give the next line.
Yep.
And then so I started a thread a story thread that was about a family packing up to go to a sacred space, like on another planet.
Yeah.
And people are starting to add to
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
good.
let's see how fun this story is, instead of constant these other posts. But what are your thoughts? I know you were saying about the energy and the launch and all of that. I'm pretty neutral to it. I just see that they're playing a little game together, the
Yeah. I mean,
Zuck Musk
I,
rivalry.
Michael, he messages me the morning of the
Mhm.
launch or whatever. He's like, follow me on threads. And I'm like, what the hell's threads? Because I don't keep up. I'm just
Yeah.
in my lane and I don't watch the news very often and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I'm like, threads. Okay, what? So I download the app because he told me to. And
See, that's what we do. That's what I mean about sheeple.
yeah,
Here, go do this. We do what our friend tells us, right?
but I know me. I'm not going to use it.
Right.
I I don't use. See, I have it set up so that where if I post something on Twitter, it automatic, or if I post something on Instagram, but automatic goes to my Lewis Maybe Spiritual page and Twitter. Done. And so I'll probably if it be able to do that with threads one way or the other.
Oh, but go add to my story
But
because
I
you'll put something fun.
right, yeah, go ahead. But I don't go on social media often.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well, we're too busy.
yeah, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't interest me. I mean, I'll go on Instagram and like maybe like 2 or 3 minute chunks and just scroll, and then I'm done. And then I might go back to it later in the day. May not, probably not. But I don't want information. I'm weird that way. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want information. I get enough going on already.
I was just going to ask that. Some of it's because we're so aware of the
Mhm.
information that we're getting.
Right.
through the universe and spirit and all of that, that sometimes it's just overwhelming to hit the energy of the social media as
Well,
well. So I do understand that.
and it's also about the fakeness of it,
Mm.
because so here's a little thing that happens to me.
Hold that thought for 1 second. So if anybody wants to comment on this, please do make your comments. I promise I will show them as you post them. There's just a little bit of a delay, so if you write while Lewis is talking, we're all good.
Right. So whenever someone lies to me, or whenever I read a lie, see a lie, that energy, that aura turns red.
Oh, interesting.
For me, it turns red. And like the other day, and I mean, so I had someone call me and they wanted to cancel their appointment. Fine, not a big deal. But don't lie to me. Don't tell
Right.
me that your July is automatically like it's just filling up. And I'm like, well, we can rebook if you like, and because I already tuned into what she was doing, because she wasn't ready to hear the information. And that's totally fine. I'm not upset about it. God bless. But when she was talking to me on the phone, explaining, because I didn't ask for an explanation, you want to cancel, but just tell me, I want to cancel.
Right.
Not a problem. But while she was on the phone with me, like everything was turning red. and even so on Facebook and on Instagram and all these other
Yes.
platforms, when information's not in truth, it starts scoring red to me. So how would you like to, and it's not rose colored glasses either, but
No,
how would you
no.
like to see constant red? And it's red. It's
Yeah.
not like just a little bit of red, it's red. So
So I'm going to ask a question though,
yeah,
for it, because and bring up to folks here, everybody sees a little bit differently.
yes,
So Lewis is seeing colors in that case, and I'll ask the question in a second, but you also hear, because you hear spirit,
yep,
right? I do too. So that's
yep.
clairaudience.
I taste, I sense, I
Yes.
smell.
So all, and the clear cognizance, the knowingness, all of that comes into play, and it just depends on how we see at any given moment. I
Right.
see also all of the above, and do you see pictures? Do you see snapshots?
Yep. I'll
Like
see snapshots, movies, the and a few of my clients know this. Spirit loves to play a game with me, and I've gotten used to it, so it doesn't bother me anymore. But I'll be talking to someone I'm reading for, and all of a sudden, Spirit will go, "Look at the lamp." And I'm like, "Okay," and then they say, "Talk about it." And so I start just tapping into the energy, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, that was my grandfather who couldn't fix the lamp," and blah 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 blah.
right.
So so I call it point and look.
Point and look. Well,
Point and look.
sometimes it's a distraction, but because you've done this long enough, what's a
Yes.
distraction and what's not. Because
Right.
spirit will often distract you from looking, and it might be the person you're reading
Yep.
that is distracting you for just a minute. And that's okay. That's part of working with somebody for a long time. So Carolyn was saying, hello,
Hi,
fabulous
Carolyn.
Lewis. I wanted to put that up there. But so I should probably go back. So we are here with my friend, yay, my friend, Lewis Mabee, discussing, and we're doing my weekly TGIF for the Curious and Enlightened. I'm Debbie Tatel from Spirit Light Insight. If you are, first of all, if you're liking what you're seeing here, we've got a little virtual tip jar. You
That's
can
cool.
point your phone, or I believe it will show up in all the streams as a link. Normally on Facebook you could give stars, but I can't even see if you do that. I apologize. I don't know what's happening, but it's a shame. But if you like what's going on here, but I am a clairvoyant, medium, psychic. We actually, Lewis and I do very similar things, slightly differently,
Right.
actually. We tune in differently, but I think personally we work really, really well together.
Oh, yeah, for
So
sure.
I love our conversations, both personally and when we're doing this. So if you're liking that, and also if you're on my YouTube channel, you can look down, and the link is also there. The QR code is also slightly above Lewis's head. Can you point to that? I don't, yeah, there it is right there. So that stays up all the time if you miss it. If you want more information about me, and I don't even have my whole website, I've got my booking site. If you want to book a session here with me, I do clarity one-to-one sessions. I've got classes, all kinds of things, but go around the website. I've got some free resources, some guided meditations for you. You can get to know me better. Send me a message. All my information is down below. Lewis is going to add his, because again, we sort of did this last minute. If you're interested in booking with Lewis, and again, we did this last minute, but I do love the colors of your logo, Lewis.
Thank you.
Even though it's really teeny tiny here, we're going to have his gorgeous face up there next time as a photo, but we just, what did we do this in the last 3 minutes?
It was 5:20 my time, 5:27, and we went live.
So 3 minutes before showtime, we're uploading to make sure that you have his information on here too. So he is at lewismabee.com. I am spiritlightinsight.com. And we are happy to answer your questions and get to all those things. So here's this. I don't think I put you. Oh yeah, I did. So that's for my, oh wait, here's my website. Spiritlightinsight.com. Lewis. See, I did set some of this up. LewisMabee.com, although I spelled your name wrong initially, which really would have been bad.
You wouldn't be the first.
But we get all that. And then let's see, back to the chat. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm not sure what yes, you do, but
we were talking about something.
Oh, that we are you saying we do well together?
I think so.
I think so. Thank you, Tammy. And then we're getting some kudos here from Candy. So welcome, Candy. Yeah, there's a lot, and that's just this just was in the last couple days. This wasn't even going to be, so this threads thing, it wasn't even going to be included in this TGIF for the Curious and Enlightened because I was looking at some other things. So shall we?
Sure.
Come on along.
Bring it in.
Yes. So more wrapping up the energy of the week, because we kicked off the month. So wait a second. July 1st was Canada Day, right? Correct. So explain Canada Day for this dumb American.
So Canada Day is just Canada's birthday. It's our, it was when Canada was brought into as a country. We're still a Commonwealth country. We still have the King Charles as our head of state, but we are governed independently through our prime minister.
Got it.
So,
okay. So happy Canada Day, sort of a week late. And then we also here in the US, we had our birthday. Funny, was yours born of war also?
No.
Just
because I think the American history, I think the Americans have not been in war for, I think, 12 years of its entire existence. So it was created in war. In fact, I think it might have been Charles II. George II. That's right.
Only, you know why I know this? Hamilton.
Right.
When he was singing, "You'll be back."
Yeah.
And
but here's the thing about that, Americans, I love many of you dearly. That was a setup. The Boston Tea Party was supposed to happen that way because George didn't want the cost of supporting the Americans, the Americas.
Right.
And so George freely let you win because it got him off the hook because he was already in hock with his own finances because he was bleeding his own country dry, and now there is the Americas that he was trying to colonize and populate, and he couldn't do it. So his ministers went, create a war. That's why all of your first, Ben Franklin, all those kinds of people, they're born in the UK, and they were planted to create the revolution for independence.
Interesting. See, I have not gone down that rabbit hole yet.
I did.
Have not. So there's that part of it. But for the rest of us,
happy 4th of July.
Like happy Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah. I think we're so happy Canada Day, happy 4th of July, although I did have kind of a time posting an American flag after several of the rollbacks from the Supreme Court.
Right.
In the past,
I heard something
weeks.
About that in Texas.
So I actually posted an LGBTQ plus flag.
Oh, well, and that's to honor your friend.
That was one. Yes. So that was last week's show. We honored last week, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we honored my friend David. But yes, that was all about that. But we kicked off this month in the beginning of the month with a full buck moon, which was the first super moon of the year on July 3rd.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's 4 supermoons in 2023, and we all know about howling at the moon and all of those things. But the August 1st, so of the supermoons, and the supermoon is when the moon is closest to the earth.
Right. It's
so
bigger,
it looks
it's
really, really giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to let you know what some of the other dates are, August 1st, there's actually 2 supermoons in August.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Which is exciting. The sturgeon supermoon and the blue supermoon on the 30th. So a blue moon is when there's 2 full moons in a month.
Right.
And then September 29th, the harvest supermoon. But the blue moon on August 30th is actually the one closest to the Earth in 2023. So that's going to be filling up a
lot of space.
The horizon. And seriously, I'm sorry, I geek out at supermoons. I will do anything to look at a supermoon. It just is such a reminder of how small we are.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
Well, let's flip that around. How vast everything else
is. How vast everything is all around. But these supermoons are not just like, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous to look at. They're gorgeous to like soak in. And they're real true gifts of illumination and reflection.
Yeah.
The energy is so subtle and subdued. And to me, a moon and the moonbeams are just these gentle cleansings, right? That happen. Mm-hmm. I know we like to howl at the moon. That's just fun, you know, to howl at the moon.
But if you can be outside on a full moon and sleep, it may not happen overnight, but you will shift your energy because you absorbed that specific moon energy. And like with the buck moon, for example, that just happened, that is part of the whole process of the next phase of awakening.
Yes. It opens up, it shines a light on the darkness.
Yes.
Like full moons always illuminate. And to be honest, that's why people go a little crazy during the full moons. It's like, I had a friend who explained it to me once. He said, if I want to be in the closet in the dark, just let me be there. But you can't just, yes, it was an X, but you can't fling open the door. Yeah, it was an X. But it was so insightful and it stuck with me because he's like, you can't fling open the door or it's going to blind me.
Right.
The light's going to blind me.
Right.
And so a lot of times like we as healers and we as readers and things like that, you know what? There may be things we don't say.
Right.
because we don't want to blind you.
Right. Or know how to use the filter so it doesn't
Right.
blind you.
So it doesn't blind. Yes, yes. But these supermoons are like, they're there, and they're these beautiful, subtle energies. They give us pause to marvel at the glory of the universe. So Richard's asking, can the supermoons hit us cancers hard? You know what? They
So
can hit everyone's
everyone,
energy hard
but cancers
because,
are sensitive.
yes. And Richard, you're super sensitive. And aren't cancers okay? So I'm not an astrologer. I do talk about astrology because I go down that rabbit hole routinely. But so I'm not sure. But isn't Cancer water?
Yep.
Water sign, the crab, and so that's an emotional sign anyway, I think.
Right. Right. Because cancers need validation. And it doesn't always mean validation in the sense of you're a good boy. The validation is keep trucking, keep going. You're doing they're open for criticism, but you can't criticize a cancer. You have to guide cancers. And because of the sensitivities, because they might
We massage them.
exactly. Yep, with no happy ending. So
Yeah, and it's all so. But here and think actually, this is actually a great segue
oh,
for sort of the next part. Um, and I think, let's see, who's let's put this up because of the delay. I'm stretching a little bit. Cancer rising and very affected by full moon. The last one must be right up.
oh hell yeah, Jennifer. you I I was actually thinking about you because I'm going, I don't know why. Oh, because I read your email and but it just happened to be around July 3rd. And I'm just like, she's going effing nuts. But I always know that you're going to get over it. But yeah, this one would have been a doozy for you, Jen. So, oh, you're welcome, Angela.
Yeah, and Angela's saying thank you. Yeah, so it could be the supermoon, but it could also be this other astrological influence, which I found extremely relevant and powerful even before I read about it.
Mhm.
So, since, I want to talk about this, the Sirius Gateway open there's a series, it's called the Sirius Gateway opening from
Okay.
July 4th to the 8th. And I want to segue this with a little bit of a story. Oh, Jennifer says she's going to see you in a couple weeks.
Already? Oh, wow, that's fast.
There you go. So, but one of the fun things, and Louis, you're probably the same way, is when we look at energy that's affecting us and like sort of the broader spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see something a little weird and out of the ordinary,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course being clairvoyant, and trust us, if you show us something that looks really out of the ordinary and like really, ooh, we're going to look. We are absolutely going to look. And in this case, what happened was I was in a meditation looking at the energy because of sort of this full moon that was affecting me. And I was like, okay, is it just the full moon? What's the energy kind of happening in the world today? So I'm looking at the various energies that are coming in, and I see, well, I'll tell you the first thing I saw and then the second thing I saw. So the first thing that came up is out of the blue, I get this random image of Anubis, who is basically the Egyptian god of the dead. But he takes care of, basically the lore is it takes care of the sort of the physical and the spiritual.
Yes.
Right?
He's the gateway.
He's the gateway. So I'm sitting there looking at Anubis and going, well, dude, why are you here? Like
I'm meditating on the full
like I'm
moon.
looking at what's affecting us, and I know about Anubis and everything, and I'm thinking, but this is weird, this, I mean, it's a little out of the ordinary for me to look at.
Right.
And after I asked the question, what are you doing here? And decided to just look further, and I really had to reset my energy. I was like, oh, somebody gonna die, and so I had to reset my energy. And I immediately saw this golden shimmery light beaming onto the earth from almost like something in a sci-fi movie. And it was just this beautiful golden light creating this healing.
Which I think his color was gold.
And but this wasn't Anubis. As it turns out, in ancient Egypt, Sirius was considered to be the star of the goddess Isis.
Right.
And she rules over the cycles of death and rebirth.
Right.
And Anubis was able to walk between the
Between the
worlds
worlds. Right.
of the living and the dead. And
Yeah.
in some circles, they say that Anubis was Isis's son. Son is S-O-N, not
Right.
S-U-N. And suddenly that all started to come together for me as I was looking at this sort of week and then wrapping up the week. But what an amazing time this week has been when the spiritual and physical are coming together.
Right.
Right? The physical and the spiritual awakening. And what I was watching was this high frequency healing energy coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That was affecting everybody, and to the point of the folks that said that the supermoon really hit them. Were you aware that the Sirius Gateway is open from the 4th, and today's the 7th, so it starts to kind
It
of
starts to close, but it's still there.
Yeah. So if you're super sensitive, you may be having a sort of a new spiritual awareness. Your intuition is clearing out. You may be like hypersensitive.
Right.
Right. And you also are probably receiving messages from all over the place. That's part of the awakening.
And it might also come out with rashes for some people because of the sensitivity. So they'll
The
get
physical manifestation of
the stress and anxiety of the portals being open and feeling like you're in a wind tunnel and trying to walk against the wind kind of thing. So there's actually physical manifestations of skin discoloration or hives or that sort of thing. And people don't really understand where they're coming from. And that's partly why body pains, exactly. And so because this energy is so different, because we are wrapping up a huge universal cycle, not an earth cycle, but a universal cycle.
Yep.
And that's probably why you got visited by the ancients, because come around October 12th, 11th, 12th, 13th, not October. It actually starts in mid-August, but by October 11th, 12th, and 13th, it's gonna feel like you just were given 10,000 acres of unplowed land and you got to start plowing it.
Yeah, but decide now what you want to do with this extra space.
Right, exactly.
Like most of us don't know what to do with extra space and we're really off.
Yep.
But when it happens.
Yep. And so, but it's not about having a chart in front of you. It's more so about intuitively.
Yes.
Just intuitively, just leave it alone. Just be intuitive. Do not think about what I'm saying. Just be.
Look at the energy.
Look at the energy, even if you
know the energy.
Even if you don't know what you're looking at, just look at the energy and just simply go, is this for my highest good to pay attention to? And then wait wait for the resonation of yes or no. And so when it comes back as yes, then and yes is saying get your plow out and you're going to plow the 5 rows. Then just plow 5 rows. Don't plow 6. Don't plow 4. Plow 5. Because what the universe is doing for all of us right now is aligning us so that we're more uniformed. We're more unified. And that doesn't mean that we're all going to become psychic and whatever. We still will have our abilities. I'm never going to be a lawyer because I don't want to be a lawyer. We're all going to stay in our lane that way as far as career goes, but I'm going beyond the human ego here.
Right.
And we're all going to start to rise. I think sometimes people get confused with the age of Aquarius. We're not in the age of Aquarius. We are in the age of truth.
Yes, and last week, and I don't know if you got a chance to watch because I know you were super busy last week. But anyway, what I talked about was the divine integration.
Yep.
And that goes with, we talk about the dimensional shifts.
Yep.
Right. And what you're talking about is actually what I was talking about last week, which was the dimensional integrations that are going on.
Right.
It's unity in the sense of unifying and bridging heaven and earth, as it were.
Oh, absolutely.
Spirit and body.
Right.
All coming together where we begin to work from a wholeness, not a space of divide. In fact, healing, when we talk about healing, at least when I talk about healing with my clients, I'm not talking about you're sick and you need healing or there's something wrong with you that needs fixing. I'm looking at where the divides are.
Right.
That whether consciously or unconsciously are there, that's stopping you from opening up a space to create what you want or to take a new path or to make a decision with clarity. Right. Yeah. We're not clear. And we go, sometimes we'll ask a psychic a question, right, that we don't want to make a decision for ourselves. But if we have clarity, and by the way, that doesn't mean that kills our jobs, Lewis, but
I'm not worried.
Exactly, because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And someone else's perspective is always there.
Yeah. I know a lot of my clients go see other psychics. It doesn't bother me because they always come back.
Well, because everybody's got sort of a different perspective and a different
way of delivery,
different way of doing it. But I will say that if you visit lots of other psychics and you come to me, I am not going to prove to you what that other psychic said was right. No. I'm just going to read in the way that I read. And I think Lewis is very much the same way, that, we don't mind what
I don't need validation that I'm right.
Exactly. But it's all good stuff. And as we integrate and as more people choose this integration, like spiritual awakening is spiritual oneness.
Right.
Oneness with your own spirit.
Right.
It's not a division. It's not. So even when you say unity, we're not Stepford.
Wives.
That's an old movie. I don't even know if you all know that. Actually, some of you will, but it's an old movie where we were all like, we're not clones. We're not making robots.
Right.
We're having people, see the truth and know the truth and be in that space.
Yeah.
So that's what, isn't that an interesting energy? And I'm curious to hear from those folks that now, we talked a little bit about this Sirius Gateway opening up where everybody's hypersensitive, and it's a lot of people. So now we've got a full moon and a bunch of hypersensitive people. And just because the full moon, the buck moon was on the 3rd, doesn't mean that the energy is gone.
Is gone. No, in fact, it's like a seed. It went bloop. Okay, you're planted. Now it's time to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And really, honestly, my best advice around that is don't try to figure it out.
Right. Don't analyze it.
To be. And don't analyze it, because analyzation means that you're using your ego, and your ego is meant to confuse you, because you're not tapping into source. And so, like, when I read, and probably the same thing with Debbie, we're not reading from ego, we're reading from source.
Correct. Ego is, let's be clear, ego will fight to live.
Right. It's
Ego
survival.
creates divide.
Right.
Ego is,
Where
yeah,
and heart source is about thriving.
right.
And there's a huge difference between surviving and thriving,
And making space
and making space
for yourself and everyone else.
and right, because we are moving towards the oneness, but we're still going to be individually one, but the harmony, the frequency,
Yes.
are going to transmute into the same, so that we're all hearing the same thing. We're all vibrating on the same level, as opposed to where we are right now, where it's like every single step is a different frequency, and we're like, whoa, what just happened? And so this is going to be a unification of getting a group of humans, and I say humans on purpose, to elevate together and get everyone on the same page, because the frequencies that are going to be required of us in a few years' time,
Or even by the end of the year.
even by the end of the year, exactly,
Yeah.
it's going to knock your socks off.
Yeah. Do you remember? I meant to go back. And didn't we predict something for June?
Yep. I don't know.
I don't remember what it was, but I thought we had predicted. So we were on Michael Arrington. God bless Michael Arrington. We were on his show doing a prediction show. What's that? The second year in a row?
That was January 1.
We're making it a thing.
Yeah.
Super. But yeah, there was something in June, and now I've noticed, like, I wrapped up a bunch of classes, my clairvoyant development classes and things like that. And yet I'm still,
It's perspective, Tammy, but it's good.
yeah, I was going to say, Tammy said, knock your socks off, good or bad. You know what? That's really great. There's, so one of the things that when I read, as I read from a space of complete non-judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask something like, is it good or bad? It just is, at least for me. And that's what you were just kind of saying. Well, for some, it will be. But if we could, I wonder what it would take to get out of that body-based judgment.
Is it going to hurt me?
Is it going to hurt me? Is something going to
How much fear do I need to
wrong?
bring forward?
Versus seeing the information and knowing the information, not as a good or bad, but okay, there's a lesson coming,
right,
one way or another.
Right.
What if none of it's bad?
Right. And look at it this way. You're walking down the street, and all of a sudden you trip and you break your leg. You weren't anticipating it. But what do you need to do? You need to go to the doctors. They need to fix the bone or the crack or whatever. You deal with it. Is it an inconvenience? Yes. But maybe that was a way for the universe to say, listen, you weren't paying attention. We're going to put you on your butt so that you focus on nothingness.
Yep.
And when you sit down and stop being busy, because you need to focus on physical healing, which is also all the other levels of healing, that's where you go to. That's the elevation that you're doing with the healing. And therefore, yes, it's an inconvenience to break your leg, but it resets something else that you weren't willing to work on or focus on to bring it back into clarity so that you deal with it and move forward.
Yeah. And again, the sort of in again the TGIF wrap up for the week. I'm going to rein it back in for a minute because I do this. So I've been doing this show weekly. Lewis will be coming on more. We have all kinds of interesting guests. One of my favorite shows was we looked at the astrology of the coronation
Oh,
and the coronation chair and all of that. That's amazing on my channel. That was so much fun because we went down all the original like 1500s stuff and it was amazing. And then I had a piano reader who came on. So we're going to be doing different things, but they're going to happen at I do this on Thursdays, TGIF for the Curious and Enlightened. I'm Debbie Tatel from Spirit Light Insight. I am a clairvoyant. I teach classes. You can reach me at spiritlightinsight.com. Find out more about me. I am here with my friend and amazing psychic medium, Lewis Mabee. If you want to reach him, he can be reached at lewismabee.com. This is like our station identification. I kind of like it. Don't you like it?
I do. I love that.
Little station identification here. So you are on my YouTube channel, but we are multi-streaming, and the only people who can't see it are anybody on my page. Or, well, they can see it, but they can't.
I think mine's doing it.
Yeah, well, it's there. Mine is there.
Right.
It's just you can't comment on it.
Ah,
I can't see, so I have a thread so I can see all your comments. So pop on over to YouTube if you really want to make some comments. So TU says, very true. The powers that be have put me in hospital for 4 months, finally being released next week. Yeah. So blessings and healing to you. Yeah. You've got a lot of, there's definitely some energy that you're working on releasing there. And let's
I'm
see.
just going to be right back because I heard a door slam upstairs and I don't know which room my cat's in.
Oh, you're in your new house.
I'm
Yes.
in my new
Go.
house. Yes. You're back.
Yes, go see that. Tammy, you've been seeing angel numbers. We can maybe take some readings, but I'm thinking we should do that after the reset meditation, which I think is going to help every single person while we get to that, because this is an amazing time that we're in overall. And as you can see, when I'm doing these shows weekly, right, there's always some kind of energy that is affecting all of us. And it affects us on a global level, it affects us on a personal level. And so for all my sensitive folks out there, you know and everybody is pretty sensitive, and in fact my cats are quite quiet. What was that?
It was the laundry room door where her litter is.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Got it. Just checking. But I was saying how the energy affects us globally, it affects us personally. But one of the biggest things that is happening right now is this dimensional integration.
Yeah.
You can always look at last week's show. We went into more detail about that. But we're doing, it's not just a shift, it's actually the coming together of.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference than what we've been in. I've written so many things and done several, of these conversations and shows about dimensional shifts, and those still do happen.
Yep.
Yeah. But right now, this dimensional integration and this spiritual awakening is coming together, and it's a coming together with the astrology and all of that. So those are some of the things just to kind of be aware of. And what do you think, Lewis? Should we do the meditation and then get readings after? You up
Sure.
for doing that?
Yep.
Or do you want to do it first? I'm thinking we reset the energy and then get the
Reset the
question.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. So thank you all for participating and saying, jumping in. But also, if you would like to, um, I don't know what he's doing.
I'm doing my fountain.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. If you have a question, you can drop it in the chat. We will get to the questions after the reset meditation. One of the reasons is that we want to clear out all the stuff that we've been talking about, reset your energy, bring you into the present so you can enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your week, set your energy for the weekend. And also, and this is where we were going with today's show, we started out all about clarity and purpose. We started out with what we're looking at and seeing what we see and finding that place of neutral. And that's what's really important, especially now more than ever, because otherwise, what happens is we get sucked into the fear, we get sucked into the conspiracies, we even get sucked into the supposed truths because they're all out there. And you know what? The reality is, we need to all see what we see, because it may be different for every single person, and we need to honor
And hold it in light.
and hold it in a space of light and a space of solution,
Yes.
not a space of darkness and screaming and ranting and hitting people over the head with what we see.
Right.
Yeah. So let's take a few moments to clear out that space for ourselves and reflect on the past week. This is a short meditation, but I'm going to teach you some tools that actually, Lewis and I first met in one of my meditations that I was doing with another person, and we were doing Surviving Mercury Retrograde. So that was my first meeting with Lewis until we sort of came back together through our dear friend Michael. But go ahead and give yourselves a breath. And if you're driving, don't crash your car, don't close your eyes, just drive. But hopefully you'll be in a quiet space. Be seated with your feet on the floor. This type of meditation that I teach is with seated in a chair or on a couch in a comfortable place. You can put a pillow behind your back. And just gently close your eyes, or if you're not comfortable doing that, turn your gaze downward and give yourself a breath and just begin to tune in to the various thoughts that are going through your mind. Whatever they are, just let them be there. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice if you're antsy or you're quiet or you're tired, and just say hello to that. And just focus on your breath for just a moment. Feel the in and out. Imagine the oxygen as you breathe in going into your lungs and then flowing through the rest of your body, through your bloodstream. Notice the tingling in your feet and wiggle your toes for just a moment. And then rest your attention behind your eyes, in the center of your head. And if there's thoughts in there, you don't need to make your mind blank. Just go ahead and let your thoughts go through just like a little ticker tape. Just doop. And we're going to really work that 6th chakra. We're going to clean that out in just a minute. So just let those thoughts be there. And then imagine that you are connected and supported by Mother Earth through a connection or a cord, or you can even use a tree. Imagine that you're sitting on top of a beautiful oak tree, grounded into the earth, center of the earth. And imagine that through that tree that there's a release of energy, anything you'd like to release out of your world right now, anything that no longer serves you. And just begin to give yourself space to be as you inhale, and as you exhale, just let go of anything even that came up today during our wonderful show. Start to let go of the process of all you did, all you still might be fixing or that you're responsible for. Just notice that flow moving away from your body where it goes to the center of the earth and gets neutralized and goes back to wherever it came from. Let go of any communications or anything that takes you out of the present moment and be right here and now. Be in the present moment with yourself and all of us. And at the same time, be connected with the consciousness of the earth. And give yourself a breath. Just really connect from the base of the spine to the center of the earth. And notice the high vibes, that high frequency that was coming in. You might have even noticed or might be noticing right now a high-pitched sound, and that would be spirit or high vibration. Our bodies don't operate on those frequencies, so just say hello and notice and just let them settle. If you've got that high pitch, say hello to that spirit who's trying to talk to you, Lewis. And right. I know there's some very chattery people in here today, so just say hello to that and just let go of that. And then gently rest your attention back in the center of your head, in that 6th chakra, right near the pineal gland, the place of your clairvoyance and your ability to see clearly. And just say hello to that space that's there, whether you see anything or not. The other ability in your 6th chakra is your abstract intuition. So it's your clairvoyance, you're seeing clearly. And it's also abstract intuition, which is the ability to have your answers just come to mind so you have them. Today, for this TGIF, we're going to be using the energy of the week to clear out your clairvoyance and give it a bit of a tune-up. But just notice that grounding, that connection from the base of your spine, which is your first chakra, all the way to the center of the earth. Notice that flow of energy. And once again, rest your attention in the center of your awareness, the seat of your consciousness in that 6th chakra. And imagine that you're in a room that is just beautiful and filled with light. And if you're not seeing that, that's okay, because there might be a foggy, white, unconscious, or cottony energy. You might have the feeling that you're going unconscious. And if so, give yourself a nice breath and bring your attention back to your physical body. But just go ahead and imagine that energy, that high frequency from the Sirius Gateway coming in through your crown chakra at the top of your head and flowing through and cleaning out that center of head space. Notice the thoughts or vibrations or colors that you see. and just allow it. Instead of doing something, we constantly want to do something about something. And so instead of doing that, go ahead and just receive. Receive from the Sirius Gateway, from the Isis star, to tune in and awaken one step more. And even one dot of gold, one dot of more awareness is an infinity of awareness. So don't judge the how much or what you see. Just let it be. And just, you might even feel that energy coming in through the top of your head, or just know that it's there. And just get that sensation that you're connected to the earth. And give yourself a breath. And just see if you're receiving any divine messages. And they could come as an image or a color, and you might not even understand. Just receive without doing, without responding. And then notice the shifts within your body, within your space, and give yourself a little bit more space to be. We talked a lot about that today. The beingness, the space of beingness, letting things be. So let yourself be. And if there's anything else in the center of your head, any thoughts or anything that have been consuming you, just go ahead and imagine them just flowing down that grounding, so that you have your own personal clarity. Just notice the shimmery golden light beams coming in and neutralizing everything in your head. And just let it go down your grounding. And now that things are quieting down, go ahead and bring yourselves back to your body in the center of your head. Have that awareness of your physical body. Notice that grounding. Notice that connection and that flow of energy. Just feel your feet on the ground. You can even stomp your feet. You can even imagine being at the beach and digging your toes into the nice wet sand. And then imagine a beautiful gold sun above your head, filled with life and light and enthusiasm and joy. And whatever you'd like to have for the weekend. And I'd like you to also call your energy back into that gold sun from wherever you gave it away this week. Maybe you gave it as a healing. Maybe you gave it to someone as a gift. Maybe someone took it, which is always by agreement, but that's okay. Call it back. And just fill up that gold sun, and then bring that beautiful golden light of life in through the top of your head, through that crown chakra, and just fill up that crown chakra. Fill up your head and neck and shoulders, arms and hands with that light. Fill up your torso and your legs and feet with that golden light. Fill up so much that that light begins to expand from your belly and surrounds you in a space of golden light, fresh and new, with energy to enjoy your weekend. And then take another deep breath and slowly exhale as you notice your grounding and notice if things changed in your space. I can tell you that the energy, even on this channel, is different than when we started. And just wiggle your fingers and toes, and just you can even tap your finger on the center of your head since you cleaned that out, and just say hello to that. And then when you're ready, go ahead and take a big stretch and bend over, dump out, unless your computer's in front of you like mine. Turn to the side, don't bounce your head, and just gently open your eyes and look around the space that you're in and return to yourself. Very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How was that for you, Lewis? You were letting go of crazy beings. Like all these beings were just. You really got your space.
Mm-hmm.
What did you notice? Because I was just you. There were like things flying off of you.
It was just simply being in the moment and allowing myself to kind of hit the reset button.
That was great. It was so great to watch, and I was watching everyone else here as well, and it was amazing how the energy was so amped up. And then by the end, and this wasn't very long, what was it, 10 minutes? I don't even know if it was 10 minutes. That's how long it takes to kind of reset your energy. I mean, not always. You want to sit in meditation for longer than that, but this is our reset for the week. We cleared out all that energy. We used it to bring us all into present time, and we get to stop doing and start receiving
Yep.
of the energies. So, and thank you for participating in that, Lewis. That's great. So what are we doing? Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, first I should say subscribe, like, share, because that's what they tell me I'm supposed to do. There is a subscribe button in the corner of probably the lower corner on YouTube for my channel. If you're on Lewis's, you can subscribe to his channel. But we're going to be doing some live. Here, no, not coming up. We're going to be we're going to be doing live readings right now. So if there's something that you would like looked at, we are happy to take that before we sign off. I know that's not usual but with Lewis here, and he agreed.
Yep.
So for those of you, one more time, I'm Debbie Tatel. I am the host of this YouTube channel, but we're streaming live all over the place. Mostly working much better on Lewis's channels than mine. That is okay. I am okay with that. But if you'd like more information about me, or you'd like to book a session, you can contact me at spiritlightinsight.com. You can use this QR code. It'll show up in the stream as a link. So you can book a session with me. You can book a session with Lewis. Here's his information all linked. Isn't this neat? Lewis?
It is. Yeah.
Wait till you get to your the whole platform, because I'm doing it from here. If you've liked this show, if you're on on Facebook, I believe you can click the stars button and you can give stars. It's a new kind of thing that they're doing. Otherwise, you can support this stream with a virtual tip. We want to keep doing this, keep this going. All of this we're doing this from the bottom of our hearts, other than your tips. So that would be great. It's also, and Lewis, you can point to the QR code like above you. It's also, that QR code is also here on the screen. I've got, if you enjoyed that meditation, actually, I've got free guided meditations on my website. Right. And so they're mostly on SoundCloud. So you can just scroll through whatever resonates with you. Um, and again, so we are here with Lewis Mabee. I love these station identifications.
Right.
They're just fun. Okay, so let's get to some readings before we sign off. Like I said, I'll stay here as long as Lewis wants to stay here. Well, okay, maybe not all.
You're the host.
I know, but so let's see. What do we have here from
Tammy.
Tammy? Thank you for taking questions. Curious who will be traveling with later on that I've traveled with before. Old friend, work, family member, male or female to that cottage. Did that make sense to you? It sort of made sense to me.
Yeah. Um, it's not really an easy answer. I mean, yes, it is, but there's a lot of energy around the answer. So
Yes, and by the way, I have something too. So
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
go.
So I want you, and we kind of talked about this, Tammy, with what today's topic was. I want you to honor yourself, and I want you to not over extend yourself with traveling to specific people, with people. And I feel like with the cottage in specifically, I feel like if you're in there with a group of people, you have to create a bubble that you don't share space with in a emotional, in spiritual capacity. It's not going to necessarily work physically per se, but if you can go for a walk by yourself or sit on the deck by yourself for even 5 minutes, that would be even better. But I feel like, and Debbie and I read differently. We get the same information, but I'm a little bit more blunt. Watch your back, because there's a lot of lower energy people that are going to be around you, not just cottage, but just in general right now. And you got to keep your shit to yourself. So you can expand, Debbie.
Yes. So one of the things that I'm actually looking at is, well, it's funny because you got to the end before I got to the beginning part of it, which I think is really, which is so much fun in that space. But what I was looking at, Tammy, is your actually your intuition, like you're right on. What I'm actually seeing that even prompted that question is that you've been betrayed or been taken advantage of in the past. And so a lot of your decisions when you go to make any decision, whether it's the cottage or whether it's a trip somewhere or even going to the movies, who you want to go to the movies with, that you're afraid of making a mistake. And it's not a mistake when you do that, but you're opening up. I could actually see that sort of what Lewis was talking about, the watch your back was already in the back of your mind. Well, if I bring this one, then that's going to happen, or that. And so what I would also say, and I don't predict the future and I don't give advice technically like that, because I'm looking at this present time energy. But what I would say is let your awareness and kind of what Lewis said guide you in this space. You're actually seeing and knowing more than you're giving yourself credit for. And that those folks, it's really interesting that some of the folks that you brought up And I see, like there's kind of a group of people, but that they didn't leave you feeling warm and fuzzy in any of your trips before.
And don't be the mother.
And right, or healer.
Right.
Yeah, because that's really what it is. That sometimes people will take advantage when we're that giving person, and that's a distinction. It's like we're giving, but then there's also a space of expectation of return and all of that. But all of that's kind of come in and into play. But it looks to me, and this is again, I see you solo as wanting this almost as a
Yes, Tammy. Yes,
like
Tammy.
a
Yes, Tammy.
like a reboot for you, especially at the cabin. It looks like you just really need some time away from people, not even in a group. So that's what I'm going to share on that. But yeah, we come full, that was a really good full circle. I was like laughing as you were going because I get to it different route. That's the beauty of what different people do.
Right.
Yeah. Is seeing it this way. So Val says, my granddaughter said to me today, Grandma, I just had a bad feeling about something bad is going to happen. So be careful. How old's your granddaughter? I've got quite the thread. So I'll try it. You'll have to,
I think this is about your balance, Val. I think there's something that's and I do want to include physical balance, but I also want to include stress balance. And so if you're not paying attention, you could proverbially hit your face into a wall and trip yourself up because of the commotion going on inside of you. Um, so I think your granddaughter has some merit. I don't think it's necessarily as bad. It could just be a boo boo. That's kind of like how I'm reading it. But this is definitely what I keep picking up on is be present and always know where you're walking, what your foot is doing, or your feet are doing one after another, kind of thing.
yeah, that's, yeah. I mean, this is actually, it's really nice that they contacted you. One of the things that I'm looking at, I have a kind of a different take is actually, Val, it looks like an that your granddaughter was, and Lewis, once I say this, pipe jump in, but I'm actually looking at the energy of a friend of yours that might have
Yeah, yeah,
something going on that it's not even with you per se, but the
yeah,
energy is coming through you, and that it might be a little upsetting. And that's what Lewis was talking about the stress level
yeah,
and paying attention, is that it's going to end up distracting you.
yeah.
But it looks like the energy of a friend. And by the way, I don't see it as like bad, this awful thing. They might just be feeling under the weather, or you might get some news from them, but that's actually what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and just to add a little bit to that, that would make sense. But so with the friend or the other person, they need a smack up the side of the head, to be honest, because they're not paying attention. So this
Mhm.
thing is happening, but because you're gonna go and try to do what you do best,
Right.
you get pulled into it, Val. And I don't want you getting pulled in, or else you're gonna go boom. But
Yeah.
again, it's more like a bruise rather than a big boo boo. Okay, my neighbor, I love him to pieces. This is the third time he's cut my grass today. Today.
Does he like you?
Well, we have a friendly neighborly relationship. That's it.
Does he like you?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Well, you know what I meant.
No, I know. No, no.
I
No,
mean, I wish, is he good looking? I'm like,
no,
if
very with
somebody,
children.
does he have a shirt? Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
Okay. Never mind. Never mind.
yeah.
Never mind.
But I like, God bless him. But he's cutting the grass again. But he's cutting it the opposite way to get the even pile. So
Wow. You're welcome for the meditation, Jennifer. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Wondering what to do about replacing the shared fence. He wants to do it now. It's dollars. I want it, but my housemate's refusing.
I knew who her housemate is. That's why I'm chuckling.
I would have like, will this happen?
I think you should do it now. Because I hear it, if you delay it even by like a couple of months, it's going to become more expensive.
Yeah.
But here's the back us up. Why?
Yeah, that I was going to say,
If it's being forced,
my real estate spidey senses come out
right?
here, and what I wanted to say, and
I'm gonna just shut the.
so I don't know if what's going on, and if you're in Canada and how it works, I don't even know how it works there. But the first thing that I thought about when you asked the question was, whenever you do it, check your lot lines and who owns which side. That's what I'm going to say about that. And if he wants to do it now, okay, see, I'm terrible. And this has nothing to do with reading. I'm going to say then let him pay for it. And
That's your real estate.
check your lot line.
If anyone doesn't know, Debbie is a real estate agent as well in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same in Canada or,
No.
you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends.
But it just feels like immediately I saw replace fence, and I skipped over the fact that it's expensive. And I went right to
You're living in Canada, everything's expensive.
check the lot line, because they're gonna. Don't do it during Mercury retrograde. Is there a Mercury retrograde coming up? I'm not looking, but
August.
Just double check your lot line, because it looks like there might be a mistake regardless. So just double check that gets replaced in the right place. Not really a direct question to you, but I'm making my hobby into a bit of a small business. I feel like I'm heading in the right direction. What's your hobby? Wait. Oh my gosh, we have such a thread. I can't even get to all the. Oh, just to say that Val said thanks. All the way at the bottom here. Wait, now I got to get to. Back to the question. Oh my God. Sorry. See, again, they moved it, but this is not really a direct question. There you go.
Go for it.
You have no idea the multitasking that has to happen here.
Oh, yeah.
So God bless you all for being patient with me and as we go. Anyway, go ahead, Lewis.
To me, it's like you have to get out there. You have to not just create, because I feel like it's creative, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying, be willing to put yourself out there and be willing to go in corners that doesn't make sense to the creativity per se. And I feel like there's like a niche that you'll be more well known for. Like, for example, painting fur babies. And people will come to you because of that niche for like consignment kind of stuff. But then I also feel like you can do whatever else you want to do as far as your creativity goes. But it kind of just starts like off someone saying, hey, can you paint me this? Or can you draw me that? Or can you, mold me that? And you're like, yeah, sure. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's how it comes across to me.
And anytime you are doing anything that promotes your creativity.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
What was it?
She messed TU just messaged watercolor. I'm like, oh,
there you go. Yeah. And what I would say is, anytime that you are living your passion and doing what brings joy to your soul, people are going to come to you because they're attracted to your energy of doing it, of just giving, because it's okay to get paid for doing what you love.
Know your worth.
And know your worth. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Right on. Know your worth, but it's okay to get paid for, like, when we're really passionate about something, sometimes we say, oh, I just do this because I love to do it. That's great, but get paid for it. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to say, because I do see a lot of color in there too. So I didn't know it was watercolors, but I just see, you just keep doing what you're doing. That's opening up a whole thing. So that's for that. Tammy's laughing at us, I think, or Liz laughing. I just know one, her name is Gina, that I know.
Yeah, go by yourself.
That is, yeah, that is it. It's really good. Um, Angela is asking, hi, Debbie and Lewis, been unsettled and having a time sleeping. Any reason why? Me. Part of it is you're hyper aware of the amped up energy of the week. And part of what I'm looking at is that you're actually clearing out, and this might make no intellectual sense, but I'm going to say it. But I'm actually seeing you clearing out some things out of your astral body that have been disturbing. And it's got something to do with, I don't know about your grandmother. I don't know why that would be, but I'm actually seeing like the energy of a grandmother in there, and that you're working through some things either for her or she's there with you. But I do see you clearing out your astral body and making space, like a whole bunch of space for some new things as you're taking a step up. But you really, it's like all this heavy energy is like leaving, this kind of old school, reminds me of like an old, I mean, I know you're in New Zealand, but it's like an old, like the energy of an old German grandma or something, like with that very stern, strict stuff. And a lot of that's releasing. And I just saw it immediately when I looked at the question. And so it's more than disturbing, especially when you're at that super high vibration and you're really, really concerned and worried in that space. You don't have to worry. It's a clearing out, and actually, it looks like it's, as the Sirius Gateway starts to close, I think it'll start to settle down. Lewis, you're up.
Um, in the physical sense, it's because you formed habit. You've trained yourself to not sleep, and you didn't do it deliberately or on purpose, but it's like I can train myself to wake up at 4 o'clock every morning and go to the bathroom. And that's what you did unknowingly, but I think it's also because of the clearing and when you clear, the best times to clear is between 1 and 3 in the morning. Because
Well,
that's
because everybody else is asleep.
right. And so therefore it's like just quiet time. You're processing without knowing you're processing, but you're eliminating and purging. But because of that, it's the sleep patterns are off because you're not on human sleep pattern, you're on spiritual sleep pattern, if that
Yeah,
makes sense, because spirit don't sleep. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Excellent. Thank you. So Tammy is saying, I think I should go alone.
yep.
Yep, we are absolutely in agreement on that part. Lewis, I think that's this. Wait, I don't get a smiley face. What am I, chopped liver here? Goodness, I get it. It's, yes. You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. Thank you for being here and hanging out. And let's see what's going on. Richard, thank you both. I was given my grandmother Sheila's laptop when she passed. I opened it up and there were family pictures. Yes. Yes. It's interesting. I
I don't
actually,
think she wants you to. I think she demands you to.
yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that there's any, actually, it's interesting. It's like, I see you got it because you're the only one that would get it, that would like get the message.
Yeah.
You were very in tune with your grandma, like this. like, whoa, right? Very in tune, very connected with grandma. And she basically, I don't know how big or small your family is, Richard, but seriously, if anybody were, it looks like she would go, he's the only one that gets it. That's what I keep saying.
Create a book if there's enough pictures and just distribute it.
Yeah, it actually looks like that there's some pictures on there from people that you may not know that are actually relatives that she was in touch with that you may discover out of all these pictures.
It kind of reminds me of a family tree, but
Yep, that's
without the
exactly.
tree.
I saw the.
Yeah,
That's what I was looking at. Was like
yeah,
that's what it's called, right?
yeah. The
Yeah.
branches. Yeah.
There's definitely a family tree involved there, and I'll be interested to know how your um how that comes out, because there's definitely some folks on there you don't know yet, but you will. It's like better than ancestry.com.
Right.
So,
There is something about Janice. Yeah.
oh, sorry, what?
No, I was just exactly it. Uncle Janice.
Ah, oh, okay. See, you're ahead of me here. So,
I have one function. I don't have 17 like you do.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so you're welcome for the meditation, Paula. Thank you for being here. My uncle Janice recently passed. Is there anything, surrounding his passing that he didn't get to say? Lewis, you.
Nope. I'm out of here. He so there's mixed reviews with his passing. It to me, he and this is him communicating with where he is now and not where he was. But where he is now is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I should have done this earlier. I should have gone earlier, because I now can do the healing needed. Because it feels to me like there is something going on in his body, and it's like it was like this going up and down his body. So there is some stuff going on that I don't even know if we knew the full extent of. And there's also something around him about, I don't know if he was afraid of passing or if that he was just fundamentally rooted in his body that he just didn't want to let go. But there is just something there where it's like the tin finally came off the top of the can, and it it he keeps saying to me, I got out of a tight spot. Don't know what that means. I just got out of a tight spot. So there is some sort of conflict, confusion, something going on around him just before his passing. So
I also, so I'm going to take a stab at this one, because I immediately saw, when I finished reading the question, like him coming out of his body and going, yippee, I'm free.
yep.
Like, it looks like he was really, for most of his life, felt like he was restricted or stuck and never could go anywhere. And that getting out of his body was super free. And then everything else that Lewis said, right, leading up is that it was about the body restrictions and a super hard life almost. Like, I see everything kind of in brown and gray.
He
And
didn't
things
make it
like,
look like it was hard.
yeah, no, he just did. Like, in his world, you just did it. You did what you had to
Suck it up,
do.
buttercup.
And exactly. And then, because one of the things that when I saw him go, wee, like I'm free, is like this explosion of color. There's a thing in the is it one of the Indian festivals where they do the color
Wally.
Diwali? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. The Diwali festival where they throw all kinds of color. And when I saw Uncle, I looked, I was like, wow, it's like a giant Diwali festival around him. Just
He,
all these different colors, purples
yeah,
and all the colors, versus this kind of brown, like kind of tan, like
yeah,
work outside, hard work, body stuff.
yeah.
So, not that he didn't get to say, but boy, is he happy right now.
He,
So we'll say that. So thank you a lot for that, Paula. Um, Val said the
granddaughter.
granddaughter's 11 years old. Yep. And she's very, very psychic. So when she starts talking about her past lives, Val.
And she's also going through puberty, so be careful.
Yeah, well, there's that. But she's probably hypersensitive at that point as well. You're welcome, Tammy. Absolutely. You're always welcome. He is blunt, isn't he, Carolyn? Yeah, he's got some blunt. He's great. You should hear our phone calls. Oh my God. They're scary. So we're getting some thank yous here. Who said Venus is in retrograde? Yep. I think it already is. I think that's coming up now, or maybe is that the 22nd of July? It might be a little bit later on. I was just reading about that. So Venus is going into retrograde. So that is happening. That is starting. Watercolor painting for TU. I'm just going down the thread so I could see. Makes a lot of sense. You're very welcome. Oh, Carolyn saying go by yourself.
Tammy.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you both from Angela. You're so welcome. What's happening? Your chat is way slow. I know. So this is why what I'm using tips for is actually so I can upgrade this channel and get that a little faster. Well, actually, also I'm going through, there's actually a really long thread, Tammy, so it's hard. We're trying to get to everybody. Richard's saying that makes sense. Thanks. You are absolutely welcome. Let's see here. Maria, is there a message of confirmation about what's happening for me in this stage of events? What stage is that?
Duck.
Duck. Was that the answer, Lewis? Duck?
What's that? Duck. Honestly, duck. Like there's something going on about some warfare around Maria, and I feel like that she's not deep in the swamp yet. There's this whole tug of war around you. I'm also, Maria, there's also something that you have to take better care of yourself or focus on taking better care of yourself. Or else you're gonna get your lifeline. No, I shouldn't say it that way. You're gonna get the oxygen sucked out of you for a bit, and you're gonna be like really, really low. But I feel like there's manipulation around you and coercion, and it doesn't feel good. It feels very, very sticky, and you do have the power to change, but the change is frightening. And to me, it's like dropping hot potatoes and walking away. No fucks given. Like that's where your mindset needs to be, because it just, again, I keep feeling there's manipulation, control, coercion, and I don't even know if you realize the full extent of everything. I'm getting excited because I'm kind of getting pissed off because of the energies like taking advantage of you. Not the energy's taking advantage of you, but you're being taken advantage of. And I feel like that's a standard, and you're not even fully aware of where your life is living in lack because of others. And so I feel like there needs to be this big, beautiful reset for you. Walk away from the cray-cray and focus on you. Go to a deserted island, no internet, no TV, no Wi-Fi signal, nothing, and just reset.
Yeah. And I would say you're also very aware, and honestly, just reading that, you already know. You don't need confirmation.
Denial.
You already know, and there's just some. I see that there's an energy that's. People hate when I use these weird words, but I'm going to say niggling, like niggling at the back of your head.
I love the word niggling.
You like the word? I like the word niggling. It's like it's a niggle. It's a thing. It's like kind of there. Yeah, exactly. So Maria, you are so sensitive and you are so psychic, and so you already know. But what you've been doing is fighting
a battle that won't be won.
Yeah. But knowing, like admitting or whatever, I guess that's a good way of saying it. But otherwise it's, just be aware, and the other thing I got, and this, I actually heard this, was tell her to be aware. So you've got a guide out there that is giving you information. Listen, be aware of your guides. They're around you, and that's another piece
But
that I
take
would say.
action. Like that's very important for you, Maria. Is take action.
Yeah.
Don't just take it on the chin again.
Right.
Take the appropriate
Right.
action and walk away from the cray cray. I don't care if it's your siblings, your children, your spouse, your parents, the green grasshopper. I don't care. Walk away.
There you go. Hope that helps. All right. Carolyn's asking, I wonder how my teaching.
It better be art. That's all I'm saying.
It better be art, did
Yep.
you say? Okay. There you go.
I know it's not, but it will go well. I think you're going to land where you want to land and how much time you want to spend with teaching, Caroline. So it's going to work out. It might be a little bit kerfuffled at like
I'm niggling and you're kerfuffling.
Yeah, see, exactly.
There we are.
So it might be something where you have to go, oh, that's not what I wanted, but then just be patient, and then something else happens and you're able to, and then flippity flop, flippity bop.
We're going. Do you have alcohol in your? Like I'm drinking mint water here. Oh, okay.
I'm in the zone.
We're coming up with the words. That's amazing. And Caroline, your teaching opportunities. One of the things I'm actually seeing, and I don't predict the future, but I see a really bright energy around that for you. So, and I'm actually seeing that it's going to turn out better than you think. That whatever, there's going to be something that falls in your lap, because you're in present time right now with whatever you're doing. And I don't know what that means. That probably means something to you. So
say that again. I was focusing on.
So I see Caroline in present time now, and that it opens up this like super bright opportunity falling in that's going to be better than
where you are now. Is way better than where you were 2 years ago.
Okay. So I didn't know. So, but that's a really great thing. Tammy, I answered. Tammy wants my PO box. She can't do my thing. Just there's a link, Tammy. Just all you got to do. But it's just a link, a regular link.
I can break a computer.
You don't have to use the QR codes. It shows up as a link. But I will message you the link, because thank you so much even for thinking about it, and
Lori, what's his first name?
For offering. What was that?
I'm talking to Lori.
Oh,
she has a question.
Lori, yep, is the man I'm dating my person?
Because there's actually two energies around you, one from the past and one in a current, and you haven't done healing from the past. And so I need to focus on the energy of his name for the current.
And so I need to address the elephant in the room on this one. Now, and we'll get the name in a minute. But if you have to ask if the man you are dating is your person, that's your first clue that it might not be. Because if they are your person, you will know 100%. But we'll get the name and we'll see what Lewis comes up with, because I don't very often get.
I don't
like that, but
think Andrew's a bad guy per se, but I don't think he's your person. And I think you'd have fun hanging out and maybe doing a little bit of exploring, but when it comes down to it, it just feels like you're going that way. It's schematics, actually. It just feels to me it's like I don't know which one of you has a little bit of control, so keep that in mind. But I'd rather have you actually be kind of single right now, Lori, because again, I'm actually, now that I separated the two energies and Andrew's over here and this other person's over here, I'm more concerned about your healing work that needs to happen from this past situation. And so you're not going to be able to be extremely fully present with Andrew because there's something that is tying you back to the past, even though you might have thought you've done the work. And I'm not going to say you haven't done work, but this goes deeper than what you might know about the effects of how you're coming up with scenarios or conclusions about what is your next step so that you don't repeat. But in that essence of, I don't want to repeat, you're repeating just differently, but it's the same intention. So I would pump the brakes, have fun, and continue to focus more so on breaking that cord from the past, because that's actually gone really deep. And I feel like even there was manipulation, control as well, but it was passive aggressive and narcissistic. So not a bad guy. Have fun.
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking at there is the protection you put around yourself, Lori. And it's almost like a bubble of protection. But it's interesting because even when I put up his name, it's almost like he's walking 3 steps ahead of you and you're like kind of behind, like waiting for him to guide or waiting for him versus standing side by side, if that makes sense, like together. It's a very interesting dynamic. Again, not a bad guy, but you have a protection around you a little bit because of the past relationship. So that's what I'm seeing that Lewis was talking about. So, but yeah, if you have to ask if the person is your person, that's your first clue. What was that?
9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, though. Thank you for asking. And then Maria's saying thank you. Yes.
100%, Lori. And I feel like, honest to goodness, like I see you've done work. I have. But this has hit so deeper because of the length of it and the conditioning and the narcissism and and making you feel lack in living in fear and seeking approval. Those cords are still existing and they need to cut. So please, like, know that you are in a better place because your ex is an asshole.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
no, what I was going to say, and it's not just the chords, there's a whole bunch of gray energy in your space all about it. That's what part of the protection. It's like smoke.
Yeah.
It's like that smoky, like looking through a smoky window.
Yeah.
And all of that is going to get in the way of all of that. So you do need some more healing, especially when it's abusive. And also it's very, well, I'm going to take this one for a second, but your female space, your whole female matrix is like torn up energetically.
Yep.
It's and the female, your female creative energy is completely invalidated and it's dark, and so you don't have access to it at this point.
Well, it was taken away.
Okay, I see that different. You can't really take it away, but it can be so punished that you just put it away. But that's just how we see it differently. But yes, we give our space up to those things that are abusive, and not that you would consciously or want to do that, but it's from the abuse. But there's a lot of energy around your female space, and so I'm just going to gently, when we're out of here, actually give you a little healing, if that's okay. We don't even have to talk, but just on that female space, on that female level, because it's really very heavy in that space, and there's a lot of grief, and there's a lot of that in there. But the good news is, the good news is once you come out of that, once you release all of that protection and all of that, you're going to be in a completely new space, shiny new penny for somebody else.
And
Right.
please set healthy boundaries for yourself. Like the boundaries start with you and not boundaries about what you're willing or not willing to do in relationships. The boundaries have to be within yourself and not giving permission or that sort of thing, but it's more so about your boundary needs to be, how do I feel?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do I heal? And that sort of thing, and not seeking the validation that you've been trained to do, even though you don't like the attention, but you do on some level, almost like in a submissive way, going, is this okay to do this? Because that's what
Right.
you were trained to do, is you needed that validation to, because your ex gave you a worth and it was very little worth. So yeah.
Yeah. And you're welcome.
Yeah.
Give yourself a give
You're
yourself a
on the right track.
Yeah, and give yourself a breath and just kind of take in what was said. There's nothing you have to do per se about it. Like, just let that information soak in and let the healing and the hello to the energy just allow it to gently fall away. So many times, and we talked about this in the beginning, sometimes we don't release stuff because we don't want to look at it. We don't want to see it again. We don't want to, and you don't have to relive it, right, at all. And it's really just let it be there and give yourself a break and give yourself some validation for even asking the question, because I gotta tell you, there's two people here who do some pretty dang amazing healing work, and powerhouses, Lewis, both of us, and so congratulations for even making it through the energy to ask the question
100%.
and have it um, work in that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. And Val says, feeling the vibe between you two feeding off each other. Yeah,
We work well together. We play well together.
we do play well together. And would you believe that none of this is scripted? None
No,
of this is like we might have talked about a little bit about, what we were going to talk about for the weekly wrap up, right?
but
But
that's the briefest cliff note.
yeah, it's
Because
not even a cliff
I
note.
wasn't
Okay,
even
we're
sure if
talking
I
about
was
this.
gonna,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And
I
next.
wasn't sure I was going to be here today because my car. So here's the backstory about why this just happened.
Yeah, I almost got thrown over for a car part.
Right, because
Seriously.
my car needs I don't have air conditioning right now, so my car needed a new piece. But the part was coming from California. It was supposed to arrive yesterday. It didn't, but I was waiting to see if it did, and so I reached out to my mechanic. He's like, "Oh, it just cleared customs, so it's obviously not going to be here today because it's supposed to be done today." So anyway, so 2:30 my time, maybe even 3:30. What time was I done work?
Oh, we've been here a while, buddy.
Yeah, 2:22. I like it. Anyway, so I said, "Hey, I can do this," and then we just threw it together. So anyway, yep.
Well, that's yeah. So that's where we are. Okay, and this is Kaylee because she said it. Currently at home for next bit staycation. Anything I can focus on energetically while I have some extra time.
Nope.
Yes, run your energy. No, I'm kidding. That she's one of my clairvoyant students,
Nothing.
and you're so used to doing, and that's what I was going to say is be with the boy. How's the boy doing? He just had his tonsils out, her little boy.
Oh,
Um,
oh, that would hurt.
yeah, but he's doing really good.
Good.
He's doing really good. I must say.
Nothing, Kaylee. Nothing. Ditto. Squat.
Nothing. Enjoy your space. That's what I say. So
Actually,
instead
I
of
think
doing
there's a
nothing,
wall
it's
that needs to be
enjoy your
painted.
space.
You might want to paint your wall.
What was that?
You might want to paint a wall. There's a wall that needs to be painted.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So if you want a project, paint your wall finally. This is Keely. Oh, I see what you say. Okay, yeah. Andrew and I have been with each other for 14 months, and let's say the longest I've dated. Yeah, exactly. But please, I mean, enjoy each other. I like I said, there's nothing wrong with Andrew. Just don't go serious until you've really dug deeper into creating those healthy boundaries for yourself, Lori. And then, hey, he might still be around. I'm not saying no, but it's more so about like right now, the focus should be on you and not developing or focusing on developing the relationship. Let it hang, let it just float, let it be beautiful.
Yes. Don't kick the guy to the curb. We're not saying that. I
Right.
want to be really clear. I don't want to create any karma here. We are
Right.
not saying kick the guy to the curb. Once healing happens, we make agreements with people all the time. And they shift and they change. And so give yourself space within that relationship to heal. Yeah. And all I'm
Yeah.
saying is, especially if you've been with them for that long and you were asking, is he your person? Then get some clarity with your own healing, and then you'll be able to
Right. But
make that.
again, don't be surprised if you, like I said when I first started tapping in, that you might be going this way and he might be going that way because of your healing. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
Please do not think that if it doesn't work out, it's a bad thing or you're repeating yourself. No, 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 no. This is just about you having the truth within to say it's time for me to grow and not
Yes.
fit into someone else's mold.
Yes. And also, you want to be whole and complete for him at that level too,
Yep.
because that's what he needs as well.
Because you are a serious relationship monogamist. And
Yes.
so that's what you're looking for. So, just hang out. Just enjoy each other right now.
Fabulous. Thank you. Let's see what's happening. Loving this live. Well, thank you for being here this whole time, Angela. This has been amazing. And Richard says, time is really flying. We have amazing chemistry. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's how that works. So Kaylee's saying recovery is so well, honestly, happy to embrace a slow period. Yes, because you do. And you know what I say? Do be. Sorry, now I'm getting a little punchy. And Tammy is saying it is
She's seeing
5.
numbers.
She's seeing numbers. I know she always sees numbers. She did 444 and earlier, I think, right?
777.
Yeah. So what do you say we just start to wrap this up?
Sure. I'm hungry.
Lewis, not that I don't love like being here with you. We will do this again, and enjoying kind of the multi-streaming and give and take and back and forth, which is really nice. So, goodness, I'm here with Lewis Mabee, psychic medium extraordinaire, and we have been resetting. We have been wrapping up for the week. So, you can find Lewis. Wait a second. Oh, see, they moved all my stuff. It's driving me crazy. So if you've liked this show, and I know it's driving you crazy, Tammy, I don't know why. It's just click a button, but that's okay. I understand. I will give you links, and you can do it. But you can support this stream with a virtual tip. It helps us keep this going and fresh and wonderful and
This
new.
stuff costs a lot of money, people.
This stuff, yeah, this platform that I'm on to be able to do this actually does cost a lot of money. And so, we're doing this, and we want to do this. This is something absolutely we want to do, want to help raise the vibration all the way around. It's important to do that. It's on my it's below in the description on my YouTube channel. You can find me at Spirit Light Insight dash Debra Tatel, I think is the new name, but you can find me on here. Lewis maybe will link me if you want to find me, but please do subscribe. I really want to have my own handle. It takes 100 people. I don't have 100 people. So subscribe, share and like all these things. If you're interested in a reading or a healing or any kind of such thing from me, go ahead and you can check out my booking site. I do not have a QR code or kind of a link right here for my website, but you can this is connecting to my website, so it's spiritlightinsight.com slash or dash booking, but you can also, the link will be found in there. You can get a hold of Lewis on his site, lewismabee.com, and here we'll make it easier. We'll make it much easier from here. So I am spiritlightinsight.com. Oh, here. And then here's my booking, spiritlightinsight.com/online-booking. Make it much easier. And then Lewis Mabee can be found at lewismabee.com. And let's see, while we're getting a bunch of thank yous here from Terrell and Richard and everybody. It's been a joy and a pleasure. I told you, Lewis, this was going to be a blast, and so it's very fun to do. I hope you enjoy what we created here, and I personally appreciate all your continued support. So, as I said, if you're interested in reading, meditation classes, workshops, clairvoyant development, give me a shout, reach out, check out Lewis for all that he's offering, lewismabee.com, saying thank you for being here, Lewis. I'm so excited. For everyone, I want to wish you a wonderful weekend and a beautiful week to come. We'll be doing this TGIF starting at 4:30 Central Time, 5:30 Eastern time, and then what is that, 2:30 Pacific time. Next week, we're doing this every week. And how I will end is keep your spirit light in sight and shine your light for all to see. Bye for now.
Bye.